In your 20s, you become who you need to survive. And then in your 30s, you become who you actually are. There's some kind of magic that comes with turning 30. Once you pause long enough to feel it. 30s for me felt like coming home to myself. People talk about being in your 30s like this big dramatic turning point. Like life's supposed to make sense the moment you turn 30. And if I'm being honest, it's partially true. There's some kind of magic that comes with turning 30. It's not loud, it's quiet, it's subtle. It's the kind of magic that you notice once you pause long enough to feel it. For me, turning 30 felt like coming home to myself. I remember when I turned 30, I was expecting that Big Bang Theory that everybody has been talking about, but it didn't happen. But the moment I truly took time to let it all consume me, that is for me felt like coming home to myself. When I look back into my 20s, everything felt like trying to figuring it out, trying to prove something, trying to be someone, trying to build a version of life that I thought I was supposed to have. There was always this sense of reaching, of stretching, of performing for a future version of myself that I thought I was supposed to be. If I'm being honest, my 30s feel different. My 30s feel like choosing with intention, choosing with clarity, choosing with self-trust. My goal stopped being more impressive and shifted into being more honest with myself. And nobody tells you when this shift will happen. You think you'll turn 30 and then that shift will click on your birthday. No, it doesn't. It settles in really subtle. You start noticing it in small day-to-day decisions, in how you set your boundaries, in what you allow yourself to tolerate, in what you choose to walk away without offering any form of explanation. And then one day you wake up and you notice you're no longer reacting to life, you're selecting what you allow into your life. With the rise of social media, we find ourselves living this parasocial life. Every other video on our feed is either a woman in her 30s or in her 40s, even as early as in their 20s, living their very best soft life. When you look at those videos, everything that happens to that person seems so effortless. Like their life just seems like they're flowing into existence. And yes, don't get me wrong, that can be a reality for some people, but the majority of us, you're meant to pay your dues in your 20s and sometimes in your 30s before you can claim your ray of sunshine. You have to build a foundation that can actually hold that soft life that you imagine. Otherwise, it will crumble as fast as you get it. The undeniable truth about your 30s is becoming your true self. And this happens deliberately. It's not accidental. Not because you're trying to be different or anything. This just happens when you finally know who you are. And that's the core difference between being in your 30s and being in your 20s. In your 20s, you become who you need to survive. And then in your 30s, you become who you actually are. You stop adapting to rooms that don't fit you. And if you're lucky enough, you stop shrinking to be palatable to the mass. You stop performing for a version that isn't sustainable, and then with time you choose yourself on purpose, and that's when that magic happens. Another thing that really shocked me about being in my 30s is how radically honest you become with yourself. You literally know what you want and what you do not want. In your 20s, you're a bit more flexible. You'll try some things to see how they fit, but in your 30s, that line is literally drawn on the sand. You stop romanticizing things that drain you. You stop entertaining confusion. You stop negotiating your peace. Clarity becomes more attractive than possibility of something. And if you're lucky enough, you stop succumbing to pressure. Yes, it's gonna be there, but you do notice when the pressure is happening, and then you choose on how to react to it. You become stronger in your faith, in your thinking, in your truth. All this happens because you choose to trust yourself. You know exactly what your inner voice and your inner self wants, and you're no longer trying to leave it for the mass and trusting yourself more. And then with time, your standards raise up quietly. You stop justifying a lot of your decision. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop asking for permission to live your own life. Your life then stops being all this performative, self-consuming, and it becomes more personal. And this doesn't mean that you post less or become this too cool for school. That's not it. You become more in tune with yourself. Because in your 30s, peace becomes more attractive than a potential. In your 20s, you chase a lot of possibility. In your 30s, however, you choose stability of self. You want what sustains you and not what entertains you temporarily. You stop needing chaos to feel alive. You start needing consistency to feel safe. So no, your 30s aren't this big dramatic cosmic event. They're deliberate. They're not about becoming louder. They're all about becoming clearer with yourself, with your mind, with your choices, with your career, whatever it is that needs to push that ball forward. And the best part is your 30s can still be the time you decide to start over again, as long as you're finally choosing yourself without an apology. Because at the end of the day, your 30s are about becoming who you were always meant to be. And these are some of the realities they don't tell you about being in your 30s. You're listening to Kymmiee Unfiltered, and I'm your host, Kymmiee Brown. I'll see you on the next one.